What's up, lazy lawn viewers? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So as we're starting to get into really nice warm temperatures pretty much across the entire United States, it's about go time, okay? And go time, what's going to mean for us cool season guys. And I'm sorry, warm season guys, I know I've been talking about like lawn care plan stuff, but since I don't currently know enough to be comfortable with talking about warm season stuff, I'm just not going to do it. So if you want some warm season info, advice, tips, tricks, or watch somebody do stuff on their lawn, because I don't really give any advice or info, go check out like Alan Hain, go check out Real Low Dad. I mean, there's so many. Those are just two that I could think of in this exact second. So there's a lot of them to check out. Go check them out. For us cool season guys though, this is kind of going to be the steps that I'm going to take. And you can follow along or copy paste or do whatever you want to do, you know, if you like it. So not only is today going to be a let's plan our lawn care season here, rather let's plan the products we're going to be using in the lawn for this year. As you guys know, I like to kind of experiment a little bit. I like to try some new things, I like to try stuff that really nobody's talking about, or stuff that everyone's talking about. I just want to see if I can get the same results as them, or see if I can get something else that has just good results that nobody else is talking about. And I'm going to be talking about a few of those products this season. I'm not going to be talking about them here because you know, I'm not 100% dead set on all that stuff yet. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this is going to be only using products you can get from YardMastery. Now, that might seem like it's going to be a salesy kind of video, but I am an affiliate of YardMastery, which means if you use my link, my affiliate link, to purchase something from YardMastery, I get a small commission from that. If you use a different link, then I don't get anything. So, it's not like selling things on YardMastery is my goal. It's selling things through my link on YardMastery, but also not just to sell things, because even if you don't use my link, I don't care, as long as you check out the stuff on YardMastery, because if you didn't know, YardMastery was created by Alan Hain. It's basically, it's just a place for DIY people to buy products that you can't easily get through other means. Anyway, let's get to it. You may have seen another video where I use this. I don't know when this video will land and when that video will land, if that video will land, if this video will land. You get it. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is cardboard because I'm fancy, and this is Velcro because I'm really fancy. And I decided to I had some drywall in my garage and I set it up so it looks nicer. Anywho, doesn't matter. It looks good to me. That's what's important. So step one, early spring, obviously is your pre-emergent. Now you can get, from YardMastery, you can get granular, either Prodiamine or, is it Dithiopyr? I think it's Dithiopyr. Dithiopyr? Whatever. Well, anyway, you can get either one of those in a granular form. Either one of those is going to do the job for you. You can do the research to determine what's going to be better for your lawn. My preference is going to be the Prodiamine. But if you wanted to do a liquid instead, right now, as I'm talking, that is not on the YardMastery site. It might be before my video is out. It might never be. I don't exactly know. But if you wanted to do liquid, you just go to Amazon. You can go to Do My Own, any of those other places. But like I said, this is all for YardMastery stuff. So we're going to assume you're using the granular. Okay, got it. Done. Next up, early spring. Now, there's a couple different options here. On YardMastery, you can get the Bio-Stimulant pack. From now on, I'm going to assume you are, because I am. Like I said, this is my plan here. So, first things first, I am going to, in early spring, put down some Humic 12. Now I'm going to be putting that down at 6 ounces per 1,000 square feet from the dial-in spray. I'm going to be doing all of my liquids that are capable, all of my Greene County stuff through the dial-in spray. It's easy. If you haven't used one, or you don't want to use one, or you think you might not like it, it's really easy. there's almost nothing to it, so just get it. Don't worry about it. Next up, and these are really in no particular order. I think the order I'm going to do them in is going to be Prodiamine, Humic 12, Air 8, and then let's see. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is with the Prodiamine, I'm going to put down RGS, and then the rest. Oh, by the way, the RGS is at 3 ounces per thousand, Air 8's at 9. The reason I'm doing Air 8 at 9 ounces is because I'm doing it twice in the year. I don't have compaction issues. My soil is actually very soft. I get a lot of moles, a lot of worms. They help a lot. I don't have that many grubs. That's why I'm not using it as the compaction cure style application. I'm just doing the twice a year application. And the reason I'm doing Humic 12 twice a year as well is because all of the Greene County Bio-Stimulant pack has humic acid in it. So I don't need to be putting the Humic 12 down constantly, you know, because I'm going to be doing other stuff like the Air 8 or RGS, or rather every month, every section I'm going to be doing RGS and MicroGreene. RGS, like I said, 3 ounces per thousand. MicroGreene is at 6 ounces per thousand because I really want that boom, you know. And then as far as fertilizer in spring, which I know it's last in line here, but that doesn't mean it's right before late spring. This just means it's the bottom of the list here. On Greene County, or I'm sorry, on YardMastery, you got 2 options, Greene County or CarbonEarth. So those are your 2 options right now on YardMastery. Now, if you're comfortable with liquid fertilizer, which right now I'm kind of not, just because I've never used liquid fertilizer, and also I have an old bag of CarbonX I bought last year that I never got to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the CarbonX. And the rate that we're gonna do that, right now you should be seeing the Turf Therapy app open on your screen. And what's great about the Turf Therapy app is that it's going to allow you to calculate your rates based on how much nitrogen you want to put down. What I'm going to be doing is my first application is going to be 1/4 pound of nitrogen. So if I'm using CarbonX, which is 2404, it's a 50-pound bag. First you're going to enter your NPK, which is 2404. Next you're going to put in your desired amount of nitrogen, like I said, 0.25 pounds. Next you're going to put how much the bag weighs, and then you can put the price. I don't put the price. And you say calculate, and it'll tell you how much to put down. So I believe the normal rate of CarbonX is maybe it's 4 pounds per thousand, maybe 3. But if you notice here, it's about 1 pound per thousand. So yeah, there's early spring, right? And again, like I said, Pre-Emergent's in there. It's just, I don't have a sticker or whatever for it. And a couple other things you also might want to be thinking about, like I said, is the soil test. And also, if you don't have a soil probe and you want to know soil temps, you can either check GreeneCast, which is going to be a generalized soil temperature, thing for your area, or again on YardMastery you can get a soil probe, a soil temperature probe. It's just a meat thermometer basically, but you just only use it in your soil, so it doesn't get all meaty and dirty. So, like I said, early spring here is basically going to be 15th of March. So what then is considered late spring? Well, late spring is probably going to be, for me, I'm going to say it's about 4 or 5 weeks after this. So probably mid-April is what I'd call late spring. Maybe even mid to end of April is going to be late spring, right? So I did all this at the beginning of, or the end to middle of March. I'm going to be doing all this to the middle to the end of April. Speaking of all this, what I'm going to be doing is, okay, yeah, you guessed it. Well, maybe you didn't guess it. I don't know, I can't hear you. 6 per thousand MicroGreene, 3 per thousand RGS, and I think I'm going to go ahead and say here that I'm going to take the plunge. As I said it before, I was a little nervous, but I'm going to take the plunge with the liquid fertilizer. 12 ounces per thousand, and I think that's going to end up being something like less than half of a quarter of a pound of nitrogen in the ground. Also, something else to keep in mind too is when we're hitting this area, so we're talking like early May, in between late spring and early spring, is that at least in at least in my case, this typically means heat is already coming here. So if that's the case, make sure to go ahead and be aware and be prepared to go ahead and possibly pick up your fungicides. This is also a good area to start checking to see if your pre-emergent's working. If it's not, then, or if it is working and it's just not getting everything, because pre-emergents aren't designed to get everything, then it's time to take a look at getting some post-emergents. But those aren't on there yet. So I know there's going to be a cool season post-emergent, a warm season post-emergent, and then one more thing I forgot. That might be granular prodiamine. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. Just wait for Lawn Care Nuts' announcement on exactly what's going on there. But that's a good time to start thinking about that, as well as thinking about if you're doing a split app of your pre-emergent right about here. Because let's say I'm doing this, let's say March 15th, right? So 45 days later, we're looking at the end of April, roughly, so that's around the time of what I would consider late spring. So since I am doing a split app, this is about the time that I'm going to be doing my second app, right? You also want to consider the possibility of at least preparing for preventative grub control. All right, next up is early summer. So early summer is, you can see here, both of these have the caveat of if there are high temps, which means if the lawn and turf and grass is stressed. So if it's like 150 degrees outside, okay, let me pick a realistic number. If it's like 98 degrees outside, you want to get something on the lawn just to give it a little help, a little boost, a little loving, then the or if high temps area is going to be more your bread and butter. Or let's say, you happen to have a pretty mild summer, which would be awesome. Then, if it's like middle of May and you're like, oh, it's really nice outside, I'm going to throw down some CarbonX or some GreenePunch, whatever it may be. So in this case, I'm going to say CarbonX again. Because again, I can get 5 uses out of that 50-pound bag because I'm doing low doses, right? Or something else I also have from last year that I was going to use and I didn't get a chance to. If the temps are high, go ahead and do a nice low dose of XGRN. The reason being is that CarbonX, like I said, is a 2404 and XGRN is an 818. So you can put down still the same 1 pound of product, not 1 pound of nitrogen, 1 pound of product on 1,000 square feet, and you're still giving that. You're still giving the peptides, you're still giving the soil that carbon and the nitrogen, but it's an insanely low dose. I mean, it's 1/3 of the amount, right? So that's pretty great. That's going to help with stress, but it's still going to help keep things happy, right? And my arm is starting to get sore, so I'm going to switch sides. Check it out. Okay, so coming up next, this feels a little bit weird. I was on the other side, whatever. Okay, so there's my fert, right? So now I need some biostimulants. And of course, you already know we're putting down RGS, we're putting down MicroGreene, right? Obviously. And again, those are the same 3-6 ounces per thousand. 3-6. Now, if you also are really loving the Greene County fertilizer products and you want to keep playing with it and you got some high temps, then go ahead and slap some D-Thatch on there. 6 ounces per thousand. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the little microbes eat all your thatch. That's what it's going to do. And again, I'm not a scientist, so if you want to talk to a scientist, talk to these guys. Okay, and again, D-Thatch doesn't work good unless the temperatures are high. And I'm not talking like it has to be 100 degrees for it to work, but you want consistently warm, high warm weather, right? So if it's like, 90 degrees. Throw down some D-Thatch, It's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to help break down your thatch. Because I don't know about you guys, but if you get a nice big lawn like I do, 10,000 square feet with that hill, I don't need to go into it. I don't want to try to get a D-Thatcher in there. I don't want to hand rake it because, I don't need the exercise or anything. But I'm lazy. Next up, we're talking late summer now. It's a carbon copy, or carbon and humic copy of early summer. So, I don't need to go over all of it again. Sorry if I'm getting your way there, camera, but I had to switch sides, so it's a little weird. Okay, now you'll notice my early fall, I got two on here. One is for seeding, one is for no seeding. I'm going to go ahead and do the seeding one, just because I plan on doing some overseeding this season. And this is not just plain bare seeding. This also is for overseeding, okay? So you know that there's the Bio-Stim pack, there's the compaction cure pack for Greene County Fert on YardMastery. But there is also the, this seeding pack? Seeding overseeding pack, I think is exactly what the name is. I plan on getting that this year because, like I said, I'm going to play with learning about liquid fertilizer and applying it correctly and all that stuff. So I want to continue that journey, if you will, that liquid journey. So I'm going to go with liquids here for early fall seeding. So step one is going to be prepping, which is going to be 2 weeks before I actually put seed down. So like I said, last year I had the luxury of technically being able to seed as late as like beginning of October, which is what had to happen anyway. I thought that's when our water ban was up. But typically this is going to be, mid-September roughly for us cool season guys, at least in my area. So 2 weeks before that, so probably early September is when I'm going to start doing my prep. Okay, and the prep is basically just the entire Bio-Stimulant pack. And what I would do with these is over the course of a weekend, I'd put them all down. So I would do, I can't remember which ones you're allowed to actually mix. I believe these two you can mix in the same thing, but either way I would do them all separately. So maybe a Saturday morning, put down some MicroGreene, Saturday afternoon, put down some Humic 12, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, something like that. Just to, I don't have to just completely soak the ground. Right, that's 2 weeks before the seed. When you put the seed down, so you just got done spreading your seed, this is what you're going to put down with it, right on top of it. Maybe you rolled it in, maybe you covered it with some peat moss. It doesn't matter. This is what you're putting down on top of it. That is going to be, where am I? Sorry, I'm reading some notes here. Okay, that is going to be your 16-21-2 GreenePOP and RGS. And the GreenePOP, that's 12 ounces per 1,000, and the RGS, as always, is 3. I forgot to mention for your prep, RGS is going to be actually 6. Your everything is 6 except for the aerate, and that's 9 ounces per 1,000. So that's cool. 3 weeks after your seed, then you're going to throw down, I got to get my RGSs over here. Then you're going to throw down your 901 GreeneStart. And your RGS is at 3 ounces, 901's at 12. So with the seed, like I said, 3 weeks after this event right here is when you're doing this. And then 3 weeks after this event is when you're putting down your 1801 and your RGS. Your 1801 is going to go down at 12 to 15 ounces per 1,000, somewhere in that range. Personally, I would just pick like 13 or 14 or whatever. But I would just wing it, and I don't think you should do that. And again, RGS is at 3. Now again, let's say you are not comfortable with the liquid fertilizers. Just because I know I want to try them doesn't mean you do, but maybe you're watching me and you're going to copy me. So what I would do here instead is, if you wanted to do that, I would replace the GreenePOP with XStart which is CarbonEarth's granular starter fertilizer, I would still spray down some RGS, because no matter if you're comfortable using liquid fertilizer, the Bio-Stimulant pack is not fertilizer. You can dump a gallon of it in one spot and it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to be a waste of money. So I would still use RGS here no matter what. So you got your XStart. 3 weeks after your seed, what I would put down, let's see, where am I? Oh, something else too that you might want to do here, and I'm thinking of doing it if, you know, it's reasonably priced. If I'm doing granular or not, I forgot to mention it because I just forgot, is XSOIL. So that's a soil amendment, and people are just kind of playing with it right now. The idea behind it is either you need to do a couple big applications of it per year, or just kind of do light applications all the time. And like I said, it's a soil amendment, so it's not a fertilizer. I don't remember exactly what it has in it, but as you can see, it's a top dressing with biochar and CRRP. But again, whether you're using liquid or granular for the fertilizer, I still think that I want to use some XSOIL. And what I would do is put the XSOIL down first, then put the seed down, and then maybe top dress it if I need to. If I'm overseeding, I personally don't think I need a top dress. Anyway, so what I would do then is, if I'm overseeding, I would mow really low. I would throw down my XSOIL. I would throw down my seed, throw down my XStart, throw down my RGS, water everything into the recommended watering. I think most of these are like 1/2 inch, but I would water as much as I could within reason. And then keep on going. So again, 3 weeks after this, 901. If you're not cool with liquid, then let's see. Let's trade it out for some XGRN. Now that's not going to be the exact same thing as using something like 901, but it's going to be pretty close. 818, 901. Again, I know that they're not the same. Something else you could do is just use XStart at a super low dose. Or super low rate, I should say. But again, I'm no scientist here. You can kind of decide either way. But again, this is a time where I would throw down another top dressing. I think either there or there, 3 or 6 weeks after seed is when I would do another top dressing, just to kind of get it flowing there. And that'd be my heavy dose for the entire season. Let's keep on moving here. So then 6 weeks after seed, instead of the GreenePunch, if you don't want to do liquid, then let's just do some CarbonEarth, you know. And something else I forgot to mention, because last time I checked it wasn't on the website yet, or it wasn't released yet, is StressX. So StressX is another good fertilizer instead of XGRN in times of stress. But once that actually gets released, then we'll talk about it some more, but that's another good replacement. Instead of CarbonX or XGRN to your high temp fertilizer applications, is to use StressX. And the reason I forgot about it just now is because, like I said, it's not released yet. Okay, so now let's pretend you're not seeding, because it's basically the same, just reduced. But let's jump right to late fall, because I have enough stuff for that. So late fall and late spring are basically the same thing. So we're going to be putting down MicroGreene, RGS, and depending on what I still have going on, I will you know what, I'm just going to say, I'm going to put down GreenePunch, and I'm going to put that down at probably 22 ounces per thousand, something close to that, to get that. Actually, no, I think it's like 16 ounces per thousand is to get a 1/4 pound of N on the ground. So 22 is like what? 0.4 pounds of N, something like that. Don't check my math because I don't know. Or you can check my math in the comments, it's fine. So what would early fall look like? You know, let's say you're not seeding and you want to use this plan. So what early fall would actually look like is, and I'm going to have to use some of these here, but it would look just like early spring. So we got the humic, we got the aerate, we got the RGS, we got the MicroGreene, And then you got your other fertilizer, which in this case, let's just say Carbon-X, you know? Yeah, double checking my notes here. I got everything. And something else to keep in mind too is this is not, I mentioned earlier that early spring or early summer, late spring is a good time to double check that your pre-emergent's working, but you can get post-emergent any time of the year. Anywho, this is my plan using only YardMastery products. Like I said, I'm actually tweaking a couple things here and there based on what's happening, you know, around me with my local stores. You know, if I happen to, you know, whatever. So if you have any questions about this, ask in the comments. But if you like the video, like the video. If you love the video, subscribe to my channel. If you loved it even more, give me a comment or something. You can also check me out on Instagram, Lazy Lawns. You can also check the description for more links. I now have a Lazy Lawn shirt. I'm not wearing it right now. It's not here yet. Again, thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry for the length that these videos have been, but you know, what can you do? Thanks for watching.